Hello viewers, this is James Organizer. Today I'm going to be teaching on quadratic equation. So we're going to be looking at quadratic equation. Okay, so what is a quadratic equation? So a quadratic equation comes in this standard form. Okay, so this is the standard form for the quadratic equation. Alright, so there are basic things that we are supposed to understand when we are dealing with quadratic equations. So the first thing that we're supposed to know is that A, B, and C, these are real numbers. Okay, so these are real numbers, and we must know that the highest degree for a quadratic equation is 2. Okay, so each and every quadratic equation, the highest degree is 2. As you can see there, the highest degree in our equation is 2. So this is one of the things that we should know when we are dealing with a quadratic equation. We must also know that A is a coefficient of x squared, and B is a coefficient of x. C is constant. Okay, C is constant. Very important to know that. The other thing we're supposed to know also is that where A must not be equals to 0. So as we said, A, B, C, they are real numbers, and where there is A, it's not supposed to be equals to 0. Very important to know that. Okay, so we are going to look at the basics of a quadratic equation in this video. In the next video, we are going to dive deep in solving the quadratic equation. So in this video, we're just going to be concentrating much in understanding what a quadratic equation is. So it is called a quadratic equation because it contains an equal sign and it has the highest power of 2. Now, we are going to have some examples of a quadratic equation. I'm going to have some of the examples that may come in your exam for quadratic equation. Let me just get rid of this. Okay. Alright, so let's have some examples of a quadratic equation. We are going to look at some of the examples that you may have in your tests. So the first one is x squared minus 5x plus 6 equals to 0. The second one is 2x squared plus 3x minus 2 is equals to 0. The other one is, this is the third one, x squared minus 4 is equals to 0. The other one is 3x squared plus 7 is equals to 0. All these, they are types of they are examples of quadratic equations. All right, now in here you must be able to identify that they come in this form: bx plus c is equals to 0. Ax squared as the standard form plus bx plus c is equals to 0. So this is a standard form. So each and every example that we have here must marry that form. So in other ways, you'll be finding these mambo jumbled in such a way that you have to rearrange them to make it suit this standard form for quadratic equation. Now we have some interesting two last equations here that may not look like that, but they're also types of quadratic equation. So we may understand this by naming A, B, and C in our equation. So let's start with A, number 1. So our A here is 1. Okay, as you know that in front of any variable, if there is no number, just know that we have 1 there. Okay, apart from that, when we go to B, you'd find that our B is negative 5. So in this case, our B is negative 5. Okay, our C is positive 6. Okay, so let me just write this properly. Our C is positive 6. When we come to the other equation, we'll see clearly that our A is positive 2 and our B is nothing but positive 3, and our C is negative 2. Okay, our C is minus 2. Our C is minus 2. Now when you come to these, we may see properly that our A is, here there is a 1, though we don't write it. Okay, so our A there is 1. Our B is 0. We don't have B here, okay, because B, we say is a variable of x. It's a coefficient, sorry, of x. But in this case, we don't have B, so we're just going to leave it as 0. But this doesn't disqualify this equation to be part of the quadratic equation. No. Okay, it is still a quadratic equation for the fact that it has the highest power of 2, and our C is minus 4. Okay, so I'm going to leave this for you to practice. Identify the A, B, and C for this equation and write the answer into the comment section for this. Okay, after that, we must also understand that quadratic equation can be solved either by using factorization methods. So let me just write the methods. Okay, the methods of solving a quadratic equation. Methods to solve quadratic equation. So the first one, we have factorization method, and the second one, we have a formula method, which is preferred by most of the students. So a formula method is also one of ways to complete to solve quadratic equation. In this video, we are going to end here In the next video, we are going to do some couple of examples on quadratic equation. Thank you so much. See you next time.